So here we are again at the M&N El Barrio Firehouse Community Center. This is the inaugural exhibit of our Artist of the Month, Georgianna Grantham. And her exhibit is entitled A Vision Came True. We're going to have a lively conversation with Georgianna about her work, how she started painting, and her vision of the world and her vision of life now, that this is a second career for her, and she's been having a very successful new career. They say that 60 is the new 30, I think. They used to say it's the new 40. No, yeah. In Georgianna's case, her vivacious personality so underscores the fact that the 60s is the new 30. And I just want to say something about Manhattan Neighborhood Network's gallery. It was named after a Puerto Rican icon, a female, whose name is Luisa Capetillo. And she was a woman who lived in the early 20th century, in the 1900s, and was in fact a woman ahead of her time. If you think about the word feminist, it certainly didn't exist at the time when Luisa Capetillo walked the earth, and certainly not in the Caribbean, of all places, but she was amazing. She was the first woman and was an elected official, official in the Senate, Puerto Rico Senate, while it was still a colony, although we can speak for hours about the status of Puerto Rico, but she was the first woman to actually wear pants. And when she traveled to the Caribbean, other Caribbean islands, such as Cuba, she was actually arrested in Cuba for wearing slacks. So if we think that Marlene Dietrich brought slacks into a female wardrobe, no, it was actually Luisa Capetillo. And Luisa fought for social justice issues, particularly for those who were not educated. She used to read, and she took it upon herself to actually educate tobacco workers. And as they would work, she would read literature to them. She would read poetry to them. What she did was she wanted to plant a seed so others can delve into the magnificent world of the arts. She was also one of the major supporters and founders of unions. And a union then was very important. It gave you protection, job security, benefits, and to this day everyone knows who in Puerto Rico who Luisa Capetillo is. So it is a privilege to have this small gallery that Manhattan Neighborhood Network has here at the Firehouse. And it allows, although it's just one wall, but it's a special wall, and that invites everyone to gaze at the artwork. And it's a special gallery also because Manhattan Neighborhood Network has decided to provide that gallery space to emerging artists who otherwise would not have a space to exhibit. So we're very pleased that Georgianna is here.
Thank you.
This is her second exhibit. Her work is amazing. The exhibit is called A Vision Came True. And Georgianna says it's a collection of work I've crafted with passion. And passion she has a lot of. And we're going to be talking about that. And we invite everyone to come to Manhattan Neighborhood Network at 175 East 104th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenues. Take the number 6 to 103rd and walk one block over. You will have a wonderful experience. So Georgianna,
yes,
we've spoken about you being a native Harlemite.
Yes.
Georgianna was born and raised in Harlem, in Central Harlem, West Harlem, and then she moved to East Harlem 50 years ago. So Georgianna has also been a witness to a very controversial topic in both East and West Harlem, which has to do with gentrification. So you've been a witness to that, and hopefully we'll be able to touch upon that.
Okay.
All right, but I want everyone to know, our studio audience and our viewing audience, a little about you. Who is Georgianna?
Well, first I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking this opportunity to sit down with me. Georgianna is a very sophisticated, classy, Miss Know-It-All at times, you know. A person that enjoys life to the fullest. I'm a mother to two beautiful children, grown, and a grandmother. And I just love life, and I live it to the fullest. That's all I can say about Georgianna right now.
Okay, you've had interesting jobs. Your most recent job
Well,
was at the
last job
Yes.
I had was with the National Hockey League. I was with them for 7 years. I loved hockey when I was a little girl, so to get the opportunity to work with them, it was a dream come true. I went in as a part-timer, and they kept me. And I was with them for 7 beautiful years. They treated me like gold. And during that time, I was also sewing placemats and doing that on the side. But yeah, National Hockey League was great.
And right now, you're very much involved in the arts. And we want to acknowledge an organization that is that is present here, and particularly the president, Ann Reuter, and an organization that you're very proud of, the West Side Arts Coalition. Why don't you talk a little bit about your experience?
The West Side Art Coalition is a wonderful organization. When I finished with my placemats, I wanted to bring it to another level. I was wandering around 96th Street and Broadway on the weekend, 'cause that's when we open from 12 to 6 on Saturdays and Sundays. So I went in, and at the time they had a division for craft. So I joined the organization, and I showed my placemats. I only stayed for about 2 years, and I left. And the reason why I left is because I felt at the time I wasn't making money, because that's what I wanted to do. Well, it took a while, many years. I went back in 2014, but during that time, it wasn't about the money. It really wasn't. It was about I needed a place to express myself. So I went back in with my placemats in hand, and my president, Miss Ann Reuter, she asked me, "Why did you leave?" I said, "Because I wanted to make money." She said, "Well, why did you come back?" I said, "Because I figured it out. I figured it out. It's not about the money. It's about God giving you a gift, and you needed a place for it to be on exhibit, you know, and it's such a powerful thing to have your work on exhibit and have someone come in to look at your work.
It can be powerful, enjoyable, and also painful when you're criticized.
Yes, well, I don't get much of that.
Oh.
I don't get much of that. There was a woman that came in one day, and she was in a bad place. And I invited her in, I greeted her, and she went around to see the work. You know, everybody's work is, I'm not just the only one there. We have like sometimes from 12 to 27 artists at one time, depending on what we're doing, you know. And she got to the door to leave, and she said, "Thank you so much." Because when you walk in one way, you don't know what's on the person's mind, but the art speaks to them, you know, and they put them in another place. So when they're about to leave, they needed that moment to get away from whatever was bothering them, and they walk out different. And that's what I strive to do with my paintings. Not just the painting itself, but the title. There's a painting out there called Gift to You. Well, that's exactly what my work is. It's a gift from God to give to the world. And I enjoy it so much. The organization loved me.
As they should.
They loved me to the point where they put me on the board of directors. And I'm the only African American woman that's there for now. And that's what I love about this organization. They're very open. They're open to new ideas, and they embrace it with class, believe me. And I'm willing to help them do that. We have other artists that come in, or even the visitors that come in. They love the work that we're doing. We give them our newsletter. And on the inside, there's a form that you can fill out, or you can go to our website, wsacny.org. And there's a form there that you can fill out. It is a membership fee, but it's not that expensive. And you'll meet great artists. And besides meeting my wonderful president, Ms. Ann Rutter, and it's exciting. I love the organization. I'm also part of Women in the Arts Foundation, and there's other organizations that I want to get involved in, but right now I'm sticking with the West Side Art Coalition.
Very good. Now, talk to us about how you evolved. You started with making placemats, which is a craft, and then you decided to use that, and then someone mentored you into painting, or how did you learn how to mix colors and start going from cloth to a canvas?
Well, the Kenta chose me. I didn't choose it, it chose me. Right now, to take you to the beginning, my mother was a seamstress at in the Garment District, and she sewn poodle skirts. So we're talking about back in the 50s.
We were children, yeah.
And the saddle boots.
Yeah.
I never wore the poodle skirts, but she brought them home for my babysitter. And my babysitter was my aunt. So I believe that that's the only way I gotten to see it. But when we moved here to Spanish Harlem, my mother taught me about fabric. And she taught me about laying a pattern on fabric and how to go against the grain. How to fold the fabric. And that's where I got that from. She also taught me how to set a table, which I thought was quite interesting. And to look back at it now, it all comes together, and she taught me how to hang drapes. And my mother was a very religious woman, but on top of that, she was very open. She was a very exciting woman to talk to. And I went to church every Sunday when it was up in Harlem. Easter was a big thing up in Harlem during that time. You wore your cute little dress with the matching the gloves and the bag, and the pumps. Oh, I thought I was really cute back then.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah. So then when I went to junior high school, in junior high school, I went to Margaret Knox, 99, junior high school 99. And at that time, they had a workshop. Either you went for economics, or the men went for wood, or you can go into sewing. So sewing followed me all the days of my life. Even when I was working, it seemed like I just couldn't get away from it. So I did finally surrender to say, okay, this is what you want me to do. What do you want me to do? God, it wasn't no more about, oh God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I got to the cross point of the road to say, what do you want me to do? And once I surrendered myself to that, then other things started happening for me. I also attended the workshop of business opportunity. It's called WeBo, and it's a free workshop, It was at the State Building. We have 5 different locations. And coming up my building one afternoon, there was a book on the ground. And the book was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Okay? So I read the book, and then also I took the workshop.
That
So
book was on the ground.
yeah, it was on the, it was right there. It's like maybe a student walked by and dropped it.
Yeah.
But these are little things that God put in front of you in your path to let you know you're going in the right direction.
Right.
Also during that time, there was an artist that used to draw on the ground. That's James de la Vega.
Yes.
Okay? And I used to see him on the ground, become your dream, become your dream. Everywhere you walked up and down Harlem, you saw become your dream. Well, this is back in the 90s and going to the 2000s. Well, 2 years ago, I went into McDonald's right here on 103rd Street. Who's sitting there? James de la Vega. And I walked over to him because I think about a year ago, I sent him an invitation to come to one of my exhibits. And I walked over to him and I introduced myself to him. I said, "Are you James de la Vega?" He said, "Yes." And I held on to the table like I was gonna faint, you know? And I said, "I'm Georgianna Grantham, and I've been trying to get you." He says, "I know who you are." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I know who you are. Your work is wonderful. Keep up the good work." And finally, he did come to one of my exhibits, and he loved Lines from a Distance. He told me that was the sort of work that he did in the beginning, you know? So getting back to my placemats, I had a friend come by for dinner, and I was showing him my placemats, and he says, "Yeah, that's nice, I like it." He said, "Well, what's so unique about it?" Because everybody, you know, you can go to any store, there's placemats there. So I thought about a dress that my mother made for me to go to Joanne's, my girlfriend Joanne. She had a cotillion down at the Waldorf Astoria, and my mother made a dress, and it was, one side was crepe, and the other side was jersey or something to that effect. It was beautiful, brocade or something like that. And that's when it came to me, make it reversible. And not only make it reversible, let's go with the napkins, let's go with the coasters, and let's not stop there. Let's make the apron. So the apron is not really to cook in. It's just to serve in. Okay. After you done wipe your hand on the dirty apron and you want to come out to your guests, you can put that cute little apron on, you know, and it matches the placemat and it's beautiful. But I do this in honor of my mother, you know. I do this in honor of my mother. Ruth, R-U-T-H. Remember, I couldn't spell it last night. I was so tired.
She was spelling it R-U-B-Y. I said, "No, it's Ruby."
Yeah.
No,
but look, but I'm wearing ruby now. I'm wearing the color ruby.
Yes, okay.
Right? But my mother's name is Ruth. My father's name was George. And my father was an entertainer at the Apollo. He was a tap dancer. He was also a comedian. So if you've been around me long enough, you'll see he'll pop out, you know. But I come from a fun family, you know, and I'm proud of getting back to my children. I was a single mother. I had to raise my kids alone, but we did it fun. I made it fun for them. And I never had not one day of trouble with my children. And my son is about to be married to a beautiful young lady. She's my daughter. I call her my daughter, not my daughter-in-law, but my daughter. My daughter is married to a wonderful gentleman that loves her very much, a relationship that I never knew existed because I never had it for myself. And they both got together and gave me a beautiful grandson, Sebastian.
Oh, beautiful name. Beautiful
Sir
name.
Sebastian. And he loves to draw. And I put it on Facebook. Again, De La Vega gave him the thumbs up. So that's fantastic. But the placemats, this one right here, it's with the napkin and the coaster. And again, it's reversible. It could be, I don't know what's on the other side, but I stayed with the Kenta. And this one right here is also Kenta, but it's with lace. and it's reversible as well. It can come in a 2-set, you know, for 2 people, or it can come for 4. It can go up to 12, and that is the napkin. If you go to Save-A-Thon on 104th Street and between on 104th and 105th Street and 3rd Avenue, right in the middle of the store, there is my placemats in a frame. So
That's
you can actually go in and look at it and then give me a call. I can come in, we can have an in-store visit. I made this arrangement with the
and take selfies with you.
yeah, and I made this arrangement with the owner.
Right.
So I'm in good grace with them. And with Save-A-Thon, they call me their designer. So that is that's an honor right there.
It sure is.
Yes.
So you putting aside, I mean, this was the inspiration, and then you went into canvas and mixing colors.
Yeah. What happened?
And that
Yeah.
was who sort of gave you the little push to do that?
Well, an artist called Elton Tucker.
Okay.
He sort of pushed me in that direction. I kept putting my placemats in fine arts. It doesn't belong in fine arts. And I said, well, that's all I know how to do. What do you want me to do? I said, you want me to draw some lines? He said, that's exactly what I want you to do. So that's how Lines from a Distance came about. And then I started experimenting with the colors. I only use Kenta colors. I will not go outside of those colors. So I bought those tubes of colors and brushes, and so I started, you know, experimenting. And then I said, you know what? Someone told me about mixed media. And I'm like, what is mixed media? Mixed media is when you can use any type of object, any type of fabric, whatever, but it's different than using acrylic. But you can just put anything to it, and metal, flowers, whatever, and it's called a mixed media. So I said, okay, I have a bag full of fabric. So that's when Footprints was born. And I just found strips and just started putting it. I think
Recycling into art.
yes, why not? I mean, someone told me that's money. And I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna waste that.
Right.
So he said, that's money, Georgianna. And I'm like, really? So, and then I found a bag of bags of belts. So the universe again throws that at your feet and said, okay, this is what I want you to do. And I've been doing it ever since, and I love it. I love it.
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill. Yes, that's where it all started. And like I said, I didn't know anything about the art, anything, but you know, I surrendered. I stay at home alone. I don't really invite anyone to my home anymore because I had so much noise going on, you know, with my children and people coming in and out. So, you know, this time is for me, you know, and so I enjoy being alone, and I get up and I might do 3 or 4 paintings on one night, and just to have.
How do you feel about that when you're painting? You said not to quote you, all right, but there is passion.
There is a lot of passion in it. Well, you know,
when you finish,
every artist have their own little thing going on.
Right.
But for me, it's like having sex. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I go in and I come out another way. My hair stands on top of my head, and I feel exhausted, you know. And I just enjoy doing what I'm doing. And this left hand just won't quit, you know. And I have to like do 4 paintings at one time. When I go and buy my canvases, I buy it like in a dozen, so because it keeps going. If I know I'm going on vacation to see my grandson, and I might spend like 2 to 3 weeks with him, and I have a show coming right after I get back, I make sure those paintings are done before, you know, I leave. And then when I can come back, then I go directly into my next exhibit.
So art has become like from the solitude after your adult children leaving. So that's become your your new love, your new lover.
Yes, and not only that, I want people to know that there is life after your children leave, and there is life after you retired. It's not just painting. It could be anything that you really enjoy your passion in doing. It could be planting, it could be cooking, it could be just interior decorating. I love interior decorating as well, you know, but I just found it in painting. And I have a wall, matter of fact, I have 2 walls full of my paintings that are hung. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to have to walk through my hallway and have my own gallery on both sides of me, you know. It feels really, really great. So when I was leaving tonight, I brushed against one of my paintings and it kind of grabbed me to say, go get them, girl.
That's
I'm like,
right.
I said,
That's
okay,
right.
I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. So we really want our all of our audience, our viewing audience, to stop by the Luisa Capetillo Gallery here at M&N Firehouse, and again the address is 175 East 104th Street between 2nd and 3rd. You take the number 6 to 103rd Street and walk 1 block north, make a right, and you're here. You'll see this exhibit of 10 pieces, 10 paintings that Georgianna has done for our viewing audience to come and enjoy her work. You will definitely be embraced by the passion that she has for what she is doing now, her passion for life. And Georgianna, may you continue to have this life of love and continue to have a love of life.
Thank you.
You know, as depicted in your paintings. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
And continue to have economic success.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you so much.
thank you. Thank you. And so, until next time, mnn.org is the website. Please go to our website and see all of the different programs available to the community, which are free of charge. You can become a producer. You will be trained in state-of-the-art equipment to be able to film, to be able to edit. And this is a course that would cost tens of thousands of dollars, and it's available to residents of Manhattan for free.